Hey guys, Dr. Kahu here and welcome back to my channel. Now today we're going to be doing a continuation what if to the one I created last time, and that is What If Naruto Awoken the Rinnegan Part 4. Now as usual guys, if you guys can, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and as you would normally do, I actually do some likes, but because I didn't bring out a video yesterday, I'm just going to state, just for your leeway to you guys, there's no like goal for this video, so part 4 will come out today and part 5 will come out tomorrow, okay guys, just for yous. Sorry about that, and I hope you guys understand. But yeah, without further ado guys, let's get into this next part of the what if anyway, and that is, what if Naruto awoken the Rinnegan? Part 4. Now let's begin. So as usual guys, I'll do a quick recap of what happened previously, and then we'll jump into the next part of the what if, okay guys? So what happened previously back in Konoha, Sasuke and Naruto, Sakura, Team 7 pretty much dissolved in their individual roles, Naruto being groomed to become the next Hokage and pretty much a village guardian, and training to use his ability of course and being a ninja. Sasuke pretty much leading right with his brother Itachi behind him, as Sakura is helping Lady Tsunade and Orochimaru with better medical and curse mark implementation into Konoha. And so that all that happened, and not in that, Kakashi was the 5th Kage. There was that as well. Now with that in Konoha, what happened outside the story was where I actually left off with the Pains taking on Killer B, and Killer B being forced into his full tail beast state due to Nagato summoning the Ghetto statue. And so that's where I left off. Let's begin. Killer B without hesitating starts to rap and rhyme in his gigantic octopus form or his tail beast form, and because I don't want to, I'm not going to be a fool and try to rap like him because he's a fool. But anyway, Killer B immediately goes on the offensive and throws in a punch at the Ghetto statue, not realizing the Ghetto statue was just there to goad the 8 tails out. Nagato immediately, or Tendo Pain immediately releases the Ghetto statue. It gave enough time for the summoning path to immediately summon all the massive dogs that rip apart, and all the other animals, and so it does. The gecko, the giant bird, the panda, all the summonings get summoned immediately. Even the giant bull gets summoned to take on Killer B, and they're just there to distract him. The Astral Path stands back, shooting thousands of missiles at him, and shooting straight energy chakra beams straight at Killer B, distracting and pissing him off. Killer B can't do nothing. He has 10, 20, 30 massive wolves biting at him, but it is just enough for Tendo Pain to get a full grasp of what's happening. Tendo flies over top of him, and without hesitating chucks multiple chakra rods through all of Killer B's tails. And when the tail beast form is about to do a tail beast bomb, without hesitating, Tendo Pain kicks Killer B's mouth down, and what happens is, and kicking it down, the bomb explodes, but it destroys the area in front of him. Well, it doesn't destroy the part where Pain was standing. It actually goes towards the hidden cloud. Luckily, it diverted, but it destroyed some of the buildings on the way. This is what alerted the Raikage, because the tail beast bomb just went out just outside the city, which scared the Raikage, and so he's off at full max speed, rushing across all hidden cloud shinobi rushing there. And so as this goes down, what ends up going down is Conan immediately starts to use her paper bomb shurikens. She uses hundreds of thousands of them, chucking it at the hidden sand shinobi, but it's perfect because it's a massive shower. Not only that, Zetsu uses his wood style to make massive wood vines, ripping through, killing multiple hidden cloud shinobi. The Raikage rushes, splits right through, and so does Darui. And as they get through, what happens when they get there, the Raikage sees that Killer B, well, the 8 tails, is pretty much standing there, being pinned down. And what goes down is, as the Raikage appears, this is where Pain was waiting for him, and as the Raikage approaches, Pain puts his hand right in front of him and goes, "Now you would know Pain. Almighty push." There's a massive almighty push right in the Raikage's face and all the hidden cloud shinobi, eviscerating every single one of them but the Raikage and Darui, blowing up their Omri and then just managed to survive. I'm crying all to survive, but barely. The whole area gets destroyed. Killer Beast like trying to get him out. He's to see his brother get wiped out. Everything in front of them are gone. The hidden cloud village is still there, barely. But all the shinobi that came to try and investigate and attack were almost killed or in a bad place. The Raikage gets up, his arm is utterly broken, nearly destroyed, but he gets up anyway, his left arm, and he's looking right over. He's like, "Killer B." He's like, "B." Tries to call out to his brother, but what happened is Pain smiles, he flies over, And he goes, "This fight is over." Killer B goes, "No, no, it's not yet." And so they put his hand on the what's it called, on the tail beast form, and in doing so, he rips out Killer B's soul. And ripping Killer B's soul, he forcefully transforms Killer B back into his human form. His human form hits the ground. He puts the soul back in, but as he does so, he chucks multiple chakra rods through the body, and he wraps him immediately, and puts him in a sort of near-death experience continuously. So Killer P is out of the picture. When Tender Pain takes him, he looks right at the Raikage and tells him, he goes, "Rejoice, for after our mission is complete, the world will truly know the true meaning of pain." And he instantly walks away. The Raikage is like, "Damn you!" As he tries to get out, what happened to Tender Pain kicks the Raikage straight in the face, sends him flying right through the area, completely knocking him out. The Akatsuki leave with Killer B. And as they leave, what happens is Tender Pain states to Konoha that it's going to take at least a week to extract the entire 8 tails without any of the members. And so, as they go on, Zetsu informs them that someone has come knocking and he'd like to speak with them. And he goes, "Oh, who's that?" And bear in mind, this is not to Tendo, this is to Obito, acting as Toby. Zetsu tells Toby that, Obito. And so when Naruto and them get back to the Akatsuki base and they start to drain out the 8 tails, this is when they're approached by a hooded figure. Now, not until a couple of days ago, Kabuto was back in the Hidden Sound Village, reorganizing his soldiers. Instead of having everything separated like Orochimaru did, he brought everything into a smaller area around the Hidden Sound, make it easy for him to get to all his bases. And not only that, he worked his teams to the best. Like all of them are all upgraded. Like Kabuto mastered Sage Mode early, so he's already mastered White Dragon Snake Sage, and he's already mastered all Orochimaru's jutsus all the way up to the reanimation. Well, this is where things dramatically change. Okay, this is when he makes a mistake of reanimating someone, and we'll get that very soon. But what ends up going down is as Kabuto is going off doing this thing, Suigetsu, Kaden, and Jugo, not Jugo, Suigetsu and Kaden are done being Kabuto's lackey. They hate him and they want to leave. Kabuto is infatuated with Naruto and Sasuke, and she just wants to get back to Naruto and Konoha. That's where he is, the boy with the purple eyes. The boy, and Suigetsu's like, whatever, they're bad, blah blah blah. But she don't care, and none of that, the real Lord Orochimaru's there. So what ends up going down is when Kabuto leaves, this means Kaden uses this chance to escape. Her and Suigetsu, they finally leave the base and they get away. And they head themselves towards Konoha. And so that's where their story pretty much ends for now. But what happens is, now that we've got up to present day, this hooded figure walks forward. He takes his hoodie off, and this is when one of the pains go, "Who are you? And why do you come and interrupt us in such a crucial time?" He introduces himself. "My name is Kabuto. You may remember my former master, Orochimaru. He used to be one of you, the Akatsuki. Well, I would like to know if I could join, or at least share some information through each other. In exchange, I can help you and tell you where the Naruto will be. In exchange, also, you help me free my master." And he's like, "Your master?" And he goes, "Orochimaru." And so he sits there, looks at them. He's like, I see. And so as they negotiate, what ends up going down is Zetsu explains we can't really trust him. His master betrayed us before. Do you think he'd be wise? And so this is when Tende states yes. For now, stay away until we achieve our goal. And then from there, we will call you if need to. But never come back again. Kabuto understands and walks away. He goes, "Well, until you need me, I'll be waiting." He walks away and looks in the shadows, seeing Obito in the background, actually talking to him, not pain. And as he walks away, Obito hears him loud and clear. Kabuto uses reverse snake summoning, and what ends up happening is pain starts to absorb all of Killer B. Now, in this whole entire week that goes down, what ends up going down is the Raikage recovers and calls a 5 Kage summit. All the other Kages agree. And what happens is, as the Hidden Leaf Village Hokage is about to agree, Sasuke and Itachi have just come out of the operation. Sasuke has now got Eternal Mangekyo. So does Itachi. Itachi now has a proper curse mark, and he is free from his illness. Orochimaru has perfectly perfected his curse mark to the point where every joining, gaining, and tuning they eventually pass will get it to help them. Gives them a small boost. It's the gift of Konoha, or the mark of Konoha, Orochimaru calls it. But what goes down is, as he does that, as the village is building up, they want to understand who they're going to bring, who they're going to take as bodyguards for for Kakashi. Itachi put his name up, but Naruto goes, no, it should be me and Sasuke. They look at Kakashi is about to protest, and Naruto goes, I'm the most powerful shinobi here. And they all understand. Like, massively. Sasuke has no ego about it either. Naruto goes, and you're our Hokage, and so it's my job to make sure that the Hokage is safe. And Sasuke is pretty much the shadow Hokage, so it's also his job. Don't worry, what villains? And everyone smiles, they understand what Naruto means, so Kakashi agrees. Naruto, Kakashi, and Sasuke leave Konoha, everyone says goodbye, and just like that, Naruto uses the flying Raijin to teleport up near the border to the hidden, the land of fire, just near the land of iron. And so as they walk, they get there a little bit early, and they're there for a bit. They go to ponder and everything and wonder what they need to do, how they're gonna do things, like what's gonna be, blah blah. They just try to contemplate what's wrong with the Raikage, and as they're heading towards there, they hear a rustling, a noise coming towards them. And bear in mind, this is a frozen wasteland, the land of iron. And as they turn, Naruto turns, he sees it straight away with the Rinnegan. He goes, I've seen that chakra before. And as Kage runs over, she sees Naruto's chakra, and she can't believe it. Out of everyone, it's Naruto, it's Kage and Suigetsu, because they heard of the Fire Kage Summit. And just coincidence. And so bear in mind, as they see, they rush over. Suigetsu's pretty much frozen solid. He can't do nothing. Pretty much nice. He's moving, but he's frozen. And so what ends up going down is, as Kage puts him down, she just states that he's pretty much made out of water. He's a Hozuki. So he pretty much is a water person. And Sasuke, interesting. And so as they talk and everything like that, this Kage spills the beans on Kabuto and his plans and the fact that he wants to join the Akatsuki and all this stuff. And this blows Kakashi's mind. He goes, are you willing to help us? She goes, yeah, if I could defect from their village and be next to Naruto. Naruto's like, he blushes immediately. Sasuke kind of laughs. So he gets his like, you don't change one bit, idiot. And Kakashi goes, well, while you guys are here, you might as well stick around with us. And bear in mind, what happens is, as Kakashi smiles and walks away, what happens is Sasuke looks at both of them and goes, what do you get to really here? And they're like, what? Sasuke activates the Eternal Mangekyo for the first time properly. And this freaks out Kage, and this actually puts Suigetsu on the back foot, because Suigetsu sees Sasuke's eyes change 3 times. Goes from the normal eyes to the red 3 tomos to the Mangekyo, evolving straight to the Eternal Mangekyo. In doing so, Sasuke goes, well, what are you doing here? Don't force me to get the information out of you. He goes, won't like it. Kage goes, honest, we defected from Kabuto. We only happened to hear that there was a Kage summit, and we just tried our best to try to meet any of you guys to talk, try to understand, and we just so happened to find you. And then Sasuke goes, ain't you a sensory type ninja? So you would have sensed us? And she goes, well, yeah. Sasuke instantly pulls his sword out, and he coats the sword with black fire immediately, and this shocks Kage and Suigetsu. He goes, I am not going to ask you again. And Kakashi goes, Sasuke, they're telling the truth. Sasuke deactivates his fire sword, puts it away, and what happens is they all go to sit down and warm up for a bit. Naruto does an earth style to protect them all, and they warm up for the day, and they spend the night waiting, talking, discussing. Kage explains everything, all the experiments that they've done. Every one of them, his lieutenants, Kimimaro has become an even stronger one now. He's always in his curse marks 3 state. So everyone is all different. Jugo's pretty much experimented on day in, day out, pushing all his curse mark monsters out as much as he can. So there's thousands here. He has tens of thousands of curse mark monsters perfected. And so what happens is they realise that they're so outgunned, and he's ready to mount an attack in Konoha. And so Kakashi looks at them and goes, well, we better be ready. They go to the hidden cloud village, a land hidden in iron, and they get into the village and they talk to the samurais, and from there, this is where the Kage summit begins. Naruto stands by Kakashi. Everyone that comes in, Raikage goes in and explains everything. Killer B has been taken. This injury here where he's lost his arm is because of the Akatsuki member, because I want to say the Raikage loses his arm pretty similar to how he does in the canon, except for Sasuke to make him lose it. It was what's it called? The Akatsuki. And so as the Raikage stands, he berates him, being angry and saying that you guys are all used the Akatsuki one time or another, but he'd never giving them strife and getting angry. Kakashi tries to calm him down, he goes, calm down, and the Raikage is about to explode forward and even interrupt and get angry. But what happens is immediately Zetsu appears in the middle of the room. Well, not just one, 4 Zetsus appear in the room simultaneously. The Raikage teleports right in front of him, grabs that Zetsu. Naruto goes, wait! And Naruto can see everywhere. He looks around, he goes, and Naruto puts his hands together, and he goes, one style, extreme vacuum jutsu. He inhales and then does a massive whirlwind. He spins all the spores around, and Naruto puts his hands together and starts to pull it into his hand. And as Naruto sucks it in, Naruto goes, one style, wind vessel. Creates a wind vessel where he pulls all the spores into a little area. And then Naruto blows up on it, doing kind of like an ice style, freezing on the spot. Naruto drops it on the ground. Those are chakra spores. They're all around your bodies, all around you guys. They're like, what the? It's when you made contact with this thing. Naruto goes, strange, because I saw this beam before. And then right away, Naruto sees it. Naruto feels this big pressure. He immediately turns around, and this explosion comes out from the outside. Naruto opens his hand up, and as he opens his hand up, the explosion is about to engulf the entire building. But Naruto absorbs all the jutsu in his hand. All the jutsu in his hand. Naruto rushes out, and as he looks out there, there's all these curse mark monsters, led by Jugo. And what happens? Guardian's like, they're freaking out, and what happens is Jugo's like, Suigetsu, Guardian, Lord Kabuto wants you. He goes crazy and screams, ah! Starts to shoot massive chakra bombs, sends all those hundreds of creatures out there, and so they're all put on the back foot immediately. Naruto's watching, he makes 100 shadow clones, and the shadow clones pretty much subdue all of them pretty much easily, as Sasuke is not as soft as Naruto, and he wipes out like half of them immediately. The Raikage is really angry and he wants to take his frustrations out, so he decides to kill all these curse mark monsters. But these are just a distraction. That's all it is. It's just for Kabuto to get intel about Naruto, how far they both have gone. But the real Naruto stays by Kakashi. He doesn't move an inch. All the other Kages are about to go, but Kakashi stays no. And what happens is Naruto and them easily take out. Naruto and Sasuke easily take out the what's it called? There's the Curse Mark army until a little bit of more Curse Mark armies come out. And as they do that again, what ends up going down, this is when Darui and the other Jonings that protect the Kages rush out immediately and help out. And so they constitute all of them, they just take them out immediately. They work together, all together, easy as. Naruto and Sasuke are leading the charge, everyone else behind him. And so as all the Curse Mark monsters are pretty much taken out of, Jugo's the last one, he's the only one going crazy. As he's about to rush in, but Sasuke goes, no, I'll deal with him, Naruto. Naruto goes, are you going to kill him, Sasuke? And Sasuke just looks at Jugo. And Sasuke looks at Naruto. And as Jugo rushes into Sasuke goes, that's enough, Jugo. Boom, does a curse mark. He does a genjutsu that hits Jugo, and Jugo falls to the ground. He's like, oh, Lord, and he jumps to the ground. And he goes, no, my name is Sasuke Uchiha. You will stop now. Jugo immediately sees this and goes, Sasuke. Hits the ground. And what happens is from there they all come to an abrupt situation where they all agree that they're gonna pool information, help each other out. And this is where Obito, he doesn't make his appearance yet, but Obito's watching from afar. And so what happens is Obito teleports back to Kabuto and he goes, nicely done. I appreciate that little display. It shows that you're for the cause. And Kabuto goes, well, of course. I got so much time on my hand. And the other one, the one with the Rinnegan, he don't see in your vision. He goes, no. But his time is coming up to an end very soon. I have found another. And he goes, ah, Naruto Uzumaki, I see. He goes, indeed. Wow. I hope that I can provide the necessary support to help you. He goes, well, you have. You definitely have. And he goes, I would just allow for Nagato to take out Naruto and the Nine Tails. And once he does so, I will scoop in and take all of their eyes. And everything from there will be yours, Kabuto. Kabuto bows all the Obito teleports away to not make it look too suspicious. And from there, what ends up going down is Nagato and them have finished extracting all the tail beasts out of Killer Bee, killing them immediately. And what happens is from there, the Gedo statue is almost ready. They pull the remaining parts of their power, and Nagato tells them that they're going to attack Konoha within the week's end. Now, with everyone being back in the Heavenly Village and all the villages come together to work as United Shinobi Force Alliance or United Alliance, what ends up going down is Kage and Suigetsu get a pardon from Kakashi and they work in the village. Suigetsu pretty much finds it easy, he enjoys it to the point where he just becomes part of the village. To be honest, he's at home. Karen's kind of irritated, but she likes it anyway. She likes not working with monsters and people and all that stuff, but at least she gets to be close to Naruto. And with Naruto, he's standing there looking, he understands, he meditates, he wonders what he can do. He's already mastered all of the first Hokage's jutsus, all his wood styles, his sage jutsu, everything now. He's mastered them all. He's mastered all the second Hokage's jutsu, everything, all of them. And this begs the question, what else can Naruto do to help better himself? And so, within the week before the Akatsuki attack Konoha, Naruto goes to see Kakashi, and he talks to Kakashi and asks, can he receive the scroll of ceilings? And he goes, with the information from the Hokages, you should have already known enough. Naruto goes, I do, it's just, I want to overlook a little bit more things if that's okay, Kakashi-sensei. And he goes, very well. He gives Naruto the scroll of ceiling, Naruto looks over all of it properly, and he starts to master it and get really good at it, really good. To the point where he masters all the jutsus in the scroll of ceilings overnight, and he's got nothing else to do. And so what happens is Kakashi makes it a thing for Naruto to go to every clan in Konoha and doing their jutsus, and see if you can within the week. And Naruto goes, okay then. And so yep, Naruto starts with the Nara. He learns the Nara, the Inuzuka. He learns the Akamichi, and the what's it called? Yamanaka. He learns how to do the bugs. He learns nearly all clans' abilities and learns them to a T. The last clan he does is the Hyuga. Naruto goes there and he actually is kind of strict, really strict to be honest, but Neji is the one that's going to be teaching Naruto. And as there, Naruto begins to understand the workings of the Byakugan. And bear in mind, Naruto does all of this within a week. And so after Naruto's done, and bear in mind he also used Shadow Clones for this, so he'll do everything at the same time. Naruto pretty much mastered every jutsu or every clan jutsu baseline in the village. Shadow Paralysis, all the stuff. And so as Naruto is standing there, he's being completely different. He realizes that he himself hasn't really pushed himself to his max. He himself doesn't even know his power. As Kurama gave him his power, but what can Naruto do with his power? What else can he do? And so Naruto begins to practice properly. Mastered all his abilities in using Rinnegan. He even starts to use the 6th gate or the N8 in the gate, but Naruto realizes that's too much of a dangerous technique for him to use, only for extreme conditions. And so Naruto begins to push himself differently, fundamentally, mentally, becomes a much more better person. He learns more, becomes more of that. He even starts to learn medical ninjutsu better than Sakura. The facet for Naruto to get better and stronger is what making Naruto better and better. Up until the point where Naruto has fully mastered his Rinnegan abilities. And so when the Akatsuki attacked Konoha, bear in mind Jiraiya has not found Nagato's base, not yet. And so when he was in the Hidden Rain village, he didn't find no one there. And so he headed back to the village. And this is going to change a lot, and you'll see, okay? But he's still heading back. Now Tendo Pain still attacks the village with everyone, and as he does the almighty push to destroy the village, that's what goes on. That still happens, but he does it quickly. He doesn't do it slow. The attack is fired and fast and swift. But when he does so, Naruto already used the ability to block as much as he can. He jumps down, and as he jumps down, what happens is Nagato also appears. Tendo stands to all the paths, and Naruto looks at him and goes, you guys are all different versions of what I can do, right? And he goes, you think you truly mastered your abilities? And Naruto goes, no, I don't think I've truly mastered my abilities. Only select few, to be honest. but I'm guessing each and every one of these guys that harvest your Rinnegan can utilize your abilities. He goes, yes. Naruto goes, tell me something. Are those real Rinnegans? And he goes, in a manner, yes. How do you do so? And Naruto, because they're just casually talking, and he goes, one simply puts copies his chakra into someone's eye, and doing so kind of duplicates the effects within that person. Still linked to you, of course, and all the abilities can be activated, but it's you that face the chakra expenditure, not the person that uses it. And Naruto's like, oh, I see, and those rods on their bodies, is that for you to do? And he goes, yes, to control their body movements. Naruto goes, oh, I get it now. And Naruto goes, huh, interesting. Oh, well then, boom, Naruto does almighty pull, pulls Tendo in, grabs the chakra and slams it right through, tries to slam it through Tendo's chest, but Tendo was able to do a barrier, and he goes, you're very sly, and Naruto smiles, he goes, and you're stupid. Who gives away secrets thinking they 100% when Naruto pushes them off? Tendo lands and he sends the astral path. Naruto smiles immediately and a wood style comes up in front of Naruto and grabs the astral path and slams him on, crushing him. And the wood style starts to grow in the ground. Naruto gets pulled up by the wood style, a wooden dragon appears, and what happens is this is when Pain goes, so you can use the famous wood jutsu of the god of Shinobi. But how powerful do you really think you are, brat? Naruto appears right next to him. And he goes, oh, I'm powerful. Naruto does a wood style, boom, massive fist comes out and punches all the pains. The one that stops it is the one that can absorb chakra. But that's not enough because Naruto jumps right down, makes a wooden chakra sword and cuts that pain right in half. Well, cuts the hands in half. And what happens, Naruto rips the soul out and absorbs the soul. He rips the soul out of the rest of them, absorbing their soul and experience. All that's left is one pain left. Naruto now has perfect control of his summoning, perfect control of his astral path, perfect summoning of his ability to pull souls and extract information now. That was the last one he pulled up. So Naruto has pretty much got all the pain powers locked down thanks to Pain, helping him out. And so Naruto walks over to him, Pain tries to do an almighty push, but it does nothing to Naruto. Naruto pretty much splits the attack. Naruto goes, so that's what that is. Naruto opens his hand and goes, almighty push. Does an almighty push on Nagato, Pain gets sent flying, rocking out of the village. So hard in fact that he smashes through mountains, everything like that, flying around, to the point where he's almost near the real Pain's bases. He hits the ground, and as he hits the ground, massive smoke gets sent flying in the air. Naruto's floating in the mid-air, and he goes, well, what did you think of that? Naruto looks at Naruto like, what the hell? How did he hit me? And the real Nagato's like, he's too close, damn, I can't do the jutsu. Naruto appears and slams Tendo in the chest with his foot, picks him up by his head and goes, well, what do you think? Naruto goes, all I need to do is extract your soul and I found the last link. Not that hard. Nagato tries to remove himself because technically their souls are connected to Nagato. Because Naruto has pulled the souls out of the tied body, he gains the experience. And so what happens when he pulls them out? Yep, he instantly knows what Nagato fully is in the tree. And so when he breaks through, Naruto sees him, shoots a chakra rod, Naruto catches it, breaks it, drops it on the ground, and it shocks him. From there, they proceed to do the most awesome talk no jutsu battle with each other, to the point where Naruto talk no jutsu Nagato into reviving everyone in the village. Naruto watched him do the jutsu, and Nagato tells him that it's the loneliness that gets you. Don't be like me, Naruto. And he goes, please continue to carry on. Naruto dies crying. What happens is, as Naruto sees this, Naruto pulls Nagato out, and Conan has Nagato ripped up. This is when Jiraiya comes down and drops down and goes, and he sees Nagato and Jiraiya breaks down, tears seeing Nagato dead. He's sad to see Yahiko, all of them. He's sad to see all the students. And when he sees Conan, he rips the Akatsuki robes off Conan and tells him, when you're done with him, you will come back to me. You will come back to Konoha, yes? And she looks right at Jiraiya, and Jiraiya goes, Conan, and she goes, I have a whole village to protect. And Jiraiya looks at Conan, he understands. He gets very well. When she disappears, and Naruto and Jiraiya meet up, and they explain everything. Jiraiya stated they didn't find the leader of the Akatsuki, but when he found out Nagato, but everything goes the same. And when Naruto gets back to the village, what happens is everyone knows Naruto saved the village because they all swarmed the fly down and pushed him out. Naruto sees everyone alive, and from there gets rebuilt. Now when Naruto sees Yamato doing wood style the full puller jutsu. He copies that immediately and he uses Sage Out to push his power through. And he does multiple houses. He rebuilds Konoha in the middle of a couple of days. Naruto's really fast. He rebuilds all the house structures using his jutsu, and it'll stick because, you know, it's Naruto. And so Konoha gets rebuilt. Everything like that. The Akatsuki leader will supposedly be taken out. And so the world can sigh a sense of relief. All Konoha now has to deal with is those thousands of Kurosumaki monsters that Kabuto have stored away. Knowing Kabuto, he would have moved the base, and so what ends up going down is Obito revisits Kabuto and states that he needs his help. He needs his help to find Conan and find the Rinnegan, and he needs his help to get the tail beast. Kabuto sees this and he goes, I have a better idea. He uses the reanimation jutsu and he reanimates the real Madara. Kabuto and Obito is shocked, and as he reanimates him and he tries to seal him back, what happens is Madara woken up just fast enough for him to fully wake up. He breaks out of the coffin before Kabuto can put him away, and he weaves the hand signs. He weaves the hand signs to release the jutsu almost. What happens is Kabuto manages to pull him in, and he tells him, "I'm not finished with you yet." He puts Madara away. His Madara clone weapon out, the real one, and this makes Obito and Kabuto more of an even footing. But Kabuto stays still, he'll help him out if he needs to. And so what happens is Kabuto finds Rikage as easy as using the snakes and his contacts in the Hidden Cloud village, or this village hidden in the rain. And so as Kabuto finds Conan, what happens is Obito immediately disappears. As he disappears, what ends up going down is he finds Conan and proceeds to give her an ass whipping, but then she reverts this idea and gives him an awesome ass whipping with billions of bombs. But long story short, Obito kills Conan. Conan still sends her tag back to the house and sends a message to Jiraiya as well, just letting him know about Obito and their plans. And so what happens is Nagato's eye gets taken. He puts an eye on himself. He awakens all other 8 Jinchurikis, except for Gaara, so all other 7 Jinchurikis. He connects chakra rods on each of them, puts a Rinnegan on each of them, and makes them slaves to his will. And so as he does that, he gains full control of the Gedo statue, and a new sense of confidence overtakes him. He appears immediately by Kabuto, ready to kill him, but Kabuto smiles and goes, I hope I did you a favor well. And he goes, yes you did. So he goes, what from here? And so what happens is Obito explains that we need to take the Nine Tails, but we need to make sure we keep them divided. We can't have all these guys rally together. But unfortunately for Obito, because of Conan's letter and everything like that, the fact that Conan has been keeping tabs on him, and what's happening with Kabuto, everyone finds all the world kind of find out, and they have to prepare themselves. So the Hidden Leaf prepares everyone, gets them all ready for battle, because even though no war has officially been laid down, a war is going to happen. But this gives enough time for Sasuke to practice his Eternal Mangekyo abilities, even Itachi, to the point where they both master their perfect Susanoo. They master their Susanoo and their abilities. Naruto is just a god ability, you know. What happens is Naruto doesn't realize that his Rinnegans have special abilities besides just copying everything. Much like how Madara has Limbo, Naruto has a unique ability too, much similar to Hagoromo's, and will play a massive effect in the future. But what goes down is, as everyone's preparing themselves for Conan's warning, Naruto himself, he realizes that he needs to pretty much defeat the masked man with the Rinnegan who stole the eye or whatever. Someone's got to defeat Kabuto. Naruto, in his mind, it's always going to be this way, but he hates it. Hates the notion of war, fighting, everything. And so Naruto just has to pretty much in his own way get over it. And so as all the villagers are preparing, Obito and Kabuto power up their Zetsus using the Kurosumaki, the perfected Kurosumaki that Kabuto created. His white snake sage. He even gives it to Obito. He tells Obito this won't hurt a bit, and this is nothing in a form of bad. And Obito gets bitten by it, and the Kurosumaki grows, and his skin immediately accepts it, and he becomes really powerful. Obito goes, I thank you, Kabuto. You may have been a worthy ally after all. And he goes, I am only after test subjects. The world is yours, so do what you wish, as long as you allow me to. And he goes, Sasuke and Itachi are definitely yours. I guarantee it. And so he agrees, so he summons all his army. But unfortunately for him, this is when Madara appears and breaks out this time. He kicks Obito right in the face, and he proceeds to, he proceeds to release the reanimation. After he does so, he quickly rushes to Kabuto and begins to absorb the white snake sage jutsu, turning Kabuto back into a human form briefly. But what happens is the Hashirama face starts to change into a white face on his arm, on his chest, but transform back into Hashirama, and it goes into a sage mode form of ability and goes, different. But this is sage mode, huh? How interesting. He opens his eyes, and from the Kabuto re-heals, and they begin their plan. Orochimaru, Obito, and Kabuto begin their plan of building a massive army and getting ready to summon the Ten Tails. And so a whole week passes, and this is when Obito declares the fourth Great Ninja War. And he launches an attack on the Hidden Cloud, Hidden Stone, Hidden Rain, the Hidden Mist, and the Hidden Leaf Village. He launches simultaneous and Hidden Sand Village. Of course, he launches simultaneous attacks on all of them massively. Madara wants to fight the Hidden Leaf, so he chooses to attack that place. And the plan was to keep them all divided. Unfortunately for them, what ended up happening is they fell into their trap. Naruto knew this is how they were going to come, not stupid. And they listened to Naruto. And so what happens is when they attacked, no one was there. Everyone was already evacuated, which they didn't understand until when, long story short, it turned around and the entire army was behind all of them. The Hidden Leaf army was there, fighting the members of the Akatsuki there, all over Hidden Cloud, Hidden Sand, Hidden Stone, Hidden Mist Village, all around, doing their best, taking them out. Obito stays back, of course. He don't interfere. He wants to do his own thing. What happens? He comes straight after Naruto. Obito does, and goes to throw an attack at him. To Naruto does nothing. He catches the blade and breaks it, kicks Obito straight in the face, and chucks the blade right through Obito's chest. But Obito goes right through like nothing. And Naruto goes, "How long does that work? How long does the ability last for? Anyway, I wonder." And Naruto lifts up some stones. He goes, "I wonder how." And he chucks hundreds of stones at Obito and spins him around, going in and out of his body non-stop. And Obito bit the panic because he knows he can only do it for 5 minutes. And so what goes down is Naruto is just brutal. He keeps Obito there. He makes sure to max out his abilities, because Naruto understands how Sharingans work. Their Mangekyo abilities have a finite ability or have a cooldown time. And so what ends up going down, once Naruto sees that Obito has a cooldown time of 5 minutes, he shoots the rocks through Obito's legs. And Naruto goes up, grab him, snakes rush out of Obito's body and almost try to bite Naruto, but Naruto does a barrier pushing him away. Naruto jumps up, and what happens is those holes in Obito's body, the wounds that he had, instantaneously heal. He gets up and looks at Naruto and goes, "Thank you, Naruto." And so what happens is everyone starts to begin. The battle all over the world starts to take really hold of shape massively. What happens is a week prior, when the information was given out, what ended up going down is Orochimaru was dispatched with Itachi to the Hidden Sand, Hidden Cloud, Hidden Stone, and Hidden Mist Village, all respectively, really, really fast because they can move pretty fast. Itachi has a bird summoning, I guess. What happens is, thanks to goodwill and good faith, Kakashi sends Orochimaru to help the village, giving them all the forms of his curse mark. And it works because everyone access to a form of Sage Mode curse mark that will make them stronger. And so all the jonings and tunings of the Hidden Sand, all their villages, all are more stronger. And so when they go on the offensive, they destroy the majority of the army really quickly. Because none of the Zetsu get upgraded by Yamato's DNA, they're not as strong as they were in canon. And so they get pretty much leveled out. And the Cloud Village is one of the first ones to finish, because they don't have Madara Uchiha there. And then they had the Stone, Hidden Mist, Hidden Sand. All that's left is the Hidden Leaf Village, but that's the biggest army attacking. And this leads prompt to the Raikage telling the Hidden Cloud Village to ready forward to help the Hidden Leaf. The Hidden Stone Village is the same, Hidden Mist Village is the same, and the Hidden Sand Village is the same. All of them go to help Konoha, and this was also the samurai. And so they do so, they push the entire force back. Easier, pushing them back massively. Naruto himself is pondering how he does things, pondering his future, because to him, to Naruto, the world's so different to him. It's war, no war. War back in the days, no war. How does he stop it? With power, without power? He's tried it without power. He's tried it giving. Like what? What's the necessary give? But Naruto will just continue to live in his head until he figures his goal out. But what goes down is, as all the armies are battling and everything like that, this is when Obito needs to summon his his other Jinchuriki. So what he does to fight Naruto, but Naruto, being the smart guy as he is, makes 6 other shadow clones, and they subdue all the shadow reanimated shadow clones of his of the other Jinchuriki. He still enters into the mental psyche where he sees all the tail beasts, from 1 all the way to 9. Naruto puts his hand up and touches all of them. All that was left to Naruto get was everyone else but Shikaku and Kurama. Naruto already has Shikaku and Kurama's chakra a little bit. Just by a little bit, because Naruto interaction was different. Anyway, and having all those chakra, Naruto gained mean power. Like, in canon, like Naruto gains all their power, he gets their 6-power Sage Mode. Now imagine Naruto having 6-power Sage Mode with Rinnegan. Like, just imagine, okay? And he's got a Sage Mode similar to Hashirama's, with all the Nine-Tails chakra within him. So Naruto completed a unique condition. Alright, he completed a unique condition after separating all the tail beast chakra rods from the Jinchuriki. Obito sees this and tries to pin him up, and it works. The Gedo statue eats them all. And by this time he already has the Genkaku and Genkaku in the pods, and he throws them in. The Gedo statue goes wild and starts to transform, destroying everything. Massively everything. Naruto tries to protect everyone, but he can't. He's nothing. He has nothing to the power of the 10 tails by himself. And so Naruto does his best, absolute best, to try and stop what's happening. And as the 10 tails begins to rampage, blowing everything away, throwing everyone off, everyone that's heading towards Konoha can sense the massive chakra, and it kind of unnerves them until the Yamanaka clan connects with all the armies all over, which gets helped by the base in the Hidden Cloud, the base in the Hidden Mist, the base in the Hidden Stone, and the base in the Hidden Sand. All of them work together to boost a signal towards each other to let all the army know that they're facing a unique threat, that they need to stay back just in case. And so back in the battlefield, Naruto's standing right there looking right at the 10 tails. The 10 tails will strike Naruto and sees the Rinnegan in Naruto's eyes, and sees the Sage 6 Paths behind Naruto. And speaking about the Sage 6 Paths, Naruto opens his eyes and turns around, and he sees the old man in his dreams again. He goes, "What are you doing here?" I thought, and he goes, "You forgot, Naruto, that me and you will be seeing each other again soon." Naruto goes, "Yeah, fair enough, and for you this must be instant." And so the sage explains upon Kaguya, his people, and what he needs to do. He tells Naruto it's up to you if you want to, but he tells Naruto to hold both his hands out, and he places both his hands on Hagoromo's hands, gaining all of Hagoromo's chakra, and his proper 6 pass Senjutsu. Naruto's Rinnegan himself stay the same, but what happens is his Sage Mode activates permanently, so he has Hashirama's Sage Mode. Okay, just reiterate to you guys. And so when he goes into perfect 6 path Sage Mode, and with the Rinnegan, Naruto is a massive beast, and when the orbs appear behind him and Naruto turns into his KCM cloak, he is different. And the 10 tails can see this. Naruto looks right at the 10 tails, and as it erupts, it starts to fully erupt. What goes down is Kabuto pretty much completes the ritual that Orochimaru was meant to do, where he summons the Hokage, but he only summons Minato. But first he used the Death God Mask to free Minato's soul, and then from there he jumped to Zetsu and summoned Minato alive. In doing so, Minato comes back to life. He gets Genjutsu by Kabuto to be his weapon, but Minato is faster than Kabuto and only acted like his weapon. Minato did the summoning release jutsu, or the release of the reanimation jutsu, fast, but he acted like a pawn until it was time for him to go. And so as this goes down, he immediately leaves. He leaves the base Minato to help defend Obito. But Obito jumps on top of the 10 towers and he looks at Naruto. Madara looks at Naruto and he's like, "How does that kid has Hashirama chakra?" And he goes, "That kid there," and he goes, "That kid has Rinnegan too." And looks at Obito and goes, they can't be, and go, no, they're different Rinnegan on their own, what the? And what happens is Madara and Obito connect with the Ten Tails, and he turns the Ten Tails towards Naruto, and he gets the Ten Tails to shoot a Tail Beast bomb at Naruto. And as he shoots it, Naruto gets ready to deflect it or push it away. But then what happens is, as Naruto is beginning to do that, what happens is Sasuke lands right by Naruto and goes, you know Naruto, remember that jutsu you told me to perfect? And Naruto goes, yeah, why? The Ten Tails shoots the Tail Beast that bomb at Sasuke and Naruto, and Sasuke pulls out a fan that much reminiscent to Madara's fan, and Sasuke jumps right in front of it. He smacks the fan on the Ten Tail bomb and it goes, Uchiha Reflection. And Madara sees this and makes him smile so much that someone used his jutsu, and it happened to be an Uchiha. But it was so powerful that Sasuke was able to deflect the attack back, but it broke his fan on the spot. Sasuke was like, oh. Madara was so impressed. Obito's like at first, what am I gonna do? But he places his hand up and he absorbs the entire Ten Tails attack. Collapse. He drops to one knee, breathing heavily because there was a lot of energy. But he puts the energy back into the Ten Tails. In doing so, the Ten Tails get stronger, a little bit stronger, and builds up again to do another attack. But this is when Naruto tells him, he's got this. The Ten Tails goes to attack again, but Naruto immediately puts his hands out. And as Naruto puts his hands out, he absorbs the entire Ten Tails attack. But it doesn't affect Naruto, it doesn't drain him, nothing. Naruto realizes that he can store their energy within his body and reutilize it. And so every time the Ten Tails shoots Biju bombs at Naruto just flies ahead and absorbs them all. Kuruma's at Naruto and goes, you're crazy, you know that Naruto? And Naruto goes, yeah, I am. But I'm guessing this was what you guys used to be like before you were split, right? And he looks at Naruto, And this is when Kuruma notices that Naruto has tomos on both his Rinnegan. And he goes, Naruto, your eyes. He goes, I may have new powers. Naruto is kind of oblivious, and he's not about the idea of, I need to be the strongest or powerful. He is really powerful. He knows he is. And so what goes down is Naruto easily dismantles Madara's army, or Obito's army, and he pretty much seals the Ten Tails within the four Crimson Ray formation. Naruto is really powerful, and he holds in place. Ten Tails tries to get out, but nothing happens until Madara fully takes control of the Ten Tails. He activates his perfect Susanoo and destroys the Crimson Ray formation. When Naruto realizes and sees that, he goes, Susanoo. I wonder. Naruto builds his chakra up immediately, and he begins to push it, and yep, sure enough, Naruto makes a Nine Tails avatar, but this is a bigger Nine Tails avatar. And then Naruto begins to increase it by adding his ability, because he's got Rinnegan, and he manages to make his own form of perfect Susanoo, much akin to the one on the Boruto anime with Kuruma and Susanoo fusing. And so what happens, Naruto immediately begins to fight Orochimaru Susanoo, Ten Tails, easily overpowering it and throwing it down. He goes to throw an attack, and Naruto catches it with his Susanoo hands and pretty much grabs the Ten Tails' head and slams it at his head, making the entire Ten Tails bomb engulf them both. The Ten Tails is out pretty much for the count. Well, not out for the count, just injured. Naruto falls to the ground. He breathes heavily, but knowing that, if we don't lose him now, he's going to be too late. And so what goes down is Naruto immediately flies up. As he flies up, he tries to assess the situation, and he sees that the Ten Tails itself is still going to be on a rampage. So without hesitating, Naruto pulls out chakra rods and chucks all the chakra rods on the Ten Tails' tails, but it breaks it immediately. So Naruto does his jutsu. Naruto does wood style gracious deity gates. He does 11 seals, smashes the Ten Tails down on the ground. And this is when all the allied Shinobi forces finally appear. And having the Ten Tails down, Obito enacts his plan. He arrives by Kakashi and teleports Kakashi into his Kamui dimension where they battle. Kamui puts a hole in his chest and Obito lands on top of the Ten Tails, just like in canon. Madara doesn't know what's happening, but it still goes on. What goes down is Obito uses the Phantom Coffin Seal and seals the entire Ten Tails within himself, becoming the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. And when he fully wakes up and he goes to attack Naruto, Minato arrives on the battlefield. Right at around the time Jupiter is about to attack Naruto. And as he arrives, he sees Naruto and Jupiter fighting. Sasuke can only be a support fighter in this because he only at this present time, despite him having the eternal Mangekyo, he can only be a support fighter like Itachi. So they're taking on all the reanimations and the Zetsus and the Curse Mark monsters, and so they have a big fight in their hand. And this is where Itachi goes and fights Kabuto, and what's it called? He sacrifices one of his eyes, like the same, to release all the reanimations towards it does. All the reanimations get released because of the awesome Itachi that saved them all. And so Itachi, to save them, they will beat them. Anko takes Itachi out, because bear in mind, Kabuto had Anko. And from there, they're battling. And as Jupiter is fighting Naruto, it's quite an even match. If not, Naruto is way more powerful. And Ten Tails is pulling from Obito, so there's the disadvantage there. But he tries his best, and it's doing pretty good, but not at all. Naruto easily corners him, kicks him straight through into the tree. Until Naruto feels something behind him, he flips over to find Minato, the yellow face, fly right past him. He lands on the ground, and he goes, "Nice dodge, Naruto. But I was sent here to kill you by my master." Naruto goes, "Your master? You mean Kabuto?" But as he's about to speak, he goes, "Yeah, boom." Kabuto takes up control and sends Minato to attack Naruto using his max speed. Naruto breathes out, and as Minato moves, Naruto grabs Minato and rips the soul out of the reanimation. But it wasn't the soul, so he rips the tag out of him. In doing so, Kabuto's control of Minato was gone. Kabuto curses that Naruto did that, and Naruto places a seal just to lock him there so Kabuto can't dissolve him. And so from there, Minato explains he's happy to see Naruto. They're both fist bump because they don't have all eternity. And so from fist bumping, Naruto and what's it called? Naruto learns everything upon Minato, his clan, his people, Kushina, and how he does the Flying Raijin properly, and everything. And not only that, Minato also gives Naruto the other half of the Nine Tails, greatly increasing Naruto's power. So when the Nine Tails appears in Naruto's body, it's like, "Hey, other me." And it's like, "We're the same." They both talk and they both fuse properly together into becoming the full powered Nine Tails, which increases Naruto's powers. So what happens when Jupiter goes to attack Naruto? What happens? Naruto catches him, kicks him in the face, slams him onto the ground, and while this is all happening, Madara Uchiha is just standing in the background, you know? Now what happened is Naruto don't realize though that he took the Nine Tails in and he thought he fused with them, but it just allowed for him to leave an opening for himself, and you'll see. And so what goes down is, as Obito is being beaten down, Naruto begins to smash him to the point where Naruto pulls out all the tailed beasts, and there's no chakra tug of war. Naruto is strong enough to pull all of them out and rips all the tailed beasts out of Obito and leaves the Gedo statue there. Obito hits the ground and all the tailed beasts land, and this is where Madara appears, and he instantly he gets his Rinnegan and he uses his Limbo. Naruto is the only one that can react to it, and he instantly deflects the Madara clone back to Madara, and Madara's like, "So you can see it, my Limbo." It's like, interesting. He summons the Gedo statue and absorbs the Gedo statue, and he uses the Gedo statue, and what happens is, unfortunately for Naruto, he didn't realize that Kabuto put a tag on Minato, which in turn put a connection to the Nine Tails, much similar to how Obito managed to get all the other tail beasts in canon. And so in doing so, the Nine Tails split within Naruto, and the chakra chain grabbed their Nine Tails. Naruto was about to do something, but what happened is his body felt the effects of the chakra chains, and Naruto felt the effects of overuse of his abilities. And so as he kind of fell down, the other half of the Nine Tails that were within Naruto got pulled out and put into the Gedo statue towards it became complete. Madara takes the entire Gedo statue and becomes a perfect, or near perfect Jinchuriki. And then as he stands there, he's about to take Obito's eye, but this is when Kakashi and Guy come. Guy appears and he begins to fight Madara, and Guy also gives enough room for Kakashi to take Obito. Obito explains he's sorry, blah blah, everything goes relative. Minato saves him, but now they have to deal with Madara. This is the problem. Madara. All the tail beasts are within him. He's the perfect Jubi Ten Tails without the Rinnegan. But this is where things dramatically change, okay? What goes down is Kakashi deactivates a Sharingan and looks at Obito. Obito goes, how are you able to do that? And he goes, "Naruto, he did that." And he goes, "That kid. Kakashi, destroy this eye. That's the only way to beat him. Naruto may be powerful, but I don't think he can take on Madara. And he looks at Obito and he agrees. And so he's about to try to stab the eye. Black Zetsu comes and appears and wraps himself around Kakashi fully, stopping him. And he hurts Kakashi internally, dropping Kakashi, and he emerges with Zetsu and he goes, "Ah, Zetsu." He goes, "Nice decoy. Hello there, Obito." He goes, "Zetsu." He goes, "Madara is almost there, just needs to take what's Rinnegan." And so what happens is Madara, as he gets all powerful and everything, Naruto is reeling from the injury in a sense. He's quite in a bad way because he got a tail beast pulled out of him. He don't want to die because he's got all the other tail beast. It's just not a good experience right now. And not only that, Sasuke goes to attack Madara, but he gets killed roughly the same way. And this is when Kabuto comes and saves him and gives him the Hashirama cells. Sasuke gets up, and from there he has the Sharingan, and he has a 2 Mangekyo Sharingan still. But he's more powerful thanks to having the Hashirama cells infused in him. Now, he was about to see the Hagoromo, but Naruto appeared by Sasuke. And he touched Sasuke's shoulder. In doing so, Sasuke gets the other half of the seal that Naruto has. Sasuke opens up and his Rinnegan upgrades fully. Sasuke looks at Naruto and Naruto looks at Sasuke and they smile. And they both ready themselves, they head on the battlefield and they go to take on Ten Tails Jinchuriki Madara. And as the battle is as epic as it should be, Madara can't take them both on, even with the Ten Tails, even with the Rinnegan. Naruto's just way too powerful for him. He could beat him by himself. And this is when Madara starts to take it a little bit seriously, and Zetsu comes and he manages to rip the Rinnegan out. He pulls himself out of him and he merges with Madara. Madara puts the Rinnegan in and he manages to get it in his head. And he opens the Ryan. He manages to also get the Ryan Sharingan. He does way more powerful jutsus that are done just like he does in canon, but it's still the same. He puts everyone under a genjutsu. Naruto and Sasuke are the only ones that survive because one, they have Rinnegan, everyone else is put to sleep. But this is where things change. When Madara is about to, give his glorious speech on how he won, he gets stabbed in the back by Zetsu, or Zetsu moves with him fully after he takes the God Tree in, and he becomes Kaguya. Now this is where things dramatically change. When Kaguya sees Naruto, Naruto has half of her power, the Nine Tails. When he looks at Sasuke, Sasuke has all of Hagoromo's powers, and she realizes that these two boys can beat her. And at first she thinks it away, but she realizes that this boy right here with the Rinnegan, with his power, is actually more powerful than she is, and she needs to think of a plan. And so what happens is, as they fight, they jump through dimensions to dimensions until one day, one time, she manages to separate Naruto and Sasuke. Kaguya lands on Earth. Zetsu explains Naruto and his affections, blah blah blah, and he explains that the people that are close to him, Kaguya wants to try and infiltrate them from the inside out. So without hesitating, she uses her Ryan Sharingan and she brings Naruto's closest one that loves Naruto, and that is Hinata. She gives Hinata her Karma, a form of Karma seal. And what happens is, in doing so, Naruto opens a portal and finds her. She releases Hinata and disappears. Naruto goes back and follows her through. And so they all begin to battle through multiple dimensions, up until the point where Obito is about to die. Obito rips his eye out, his last remaining Mangekyo, and tells Kakashi, "Take this as my final will, Kakashi." Obito falls apart from Kaguya's death, Ash attack, and so Kabuto is completely gone. Nothing left of him whatsoever, except for the 2 Sharingan. Kakashi's upset, and what happens is, all of Obito puts his chakra into the eye that he gave Kakashi, so it's going to be more powerful when Naruto infuses it. And so what goes down is Naruto and Sasuke pretty much ends Kaguya pretty easy. There's none of this 3-way stuff with this Susanoo and all that, and Sakura, no. There's none of it. Naruto and Sasuke handle her with ease. She can't get past Sasuke's teleporting, and the fact that Sasuke has a curse mark makes him stronger. But Naruto himself has 2 Rinnegan, they have Tomos, and they're way more powerful. And Naruto beats her, pretty much owns her. And then after the defeat of Kaguya, they separate all the tail beasts, and Naruto grabs the Gedo statue. That's the one thing he didn't leave. He used the sealing tag and he sealed the Gedo statue in the Sage of 6 Parts sealing urns. He has the treasures, well, because technically Tenten did, but they were unopened, so Naruto used that to seal the Gedo statue in. Naruto grabs him from there, all the tail beasts are happy. Hagoromo appears to Naruto and Sasuke, and he thanks them both. And Naruto bows and so does Sasuke, and he goes, so what's the deal from here? Sasuke goes, I would love to fight Naruto, but I don't want to die right now. Too young. Naruto smiles. And what happens is from there, Hagoromo goes, the world is your guys' oyster. Thank you for Naruto for protecting my world from my mother. And this is when Hagoromo realizes something strange has happened. He can sense a tether in the chakra with someone else. He goes, he uses the ability, he finds out Hinata has a tether to his mother, he doesn't know how. And so Naruto's like, what? Hinata? And so from there, Hagoromo just stays to watch her for now. And Naruto's like, alright then. But what Naruto don't know is Kaguya also put, a karma on someone that loves Naruto also, Karin. She used her ability to find out that Karin also likes Naruto. So she has a karma seal on her too, just in case. So if Hinata, she didn't activate Hinata, it's going to be activating kind of one of the two. Pretty much like how Jigen and, what's his name, Jigen and, what's his name, Kawaki had the karma seals, and when Ishiki resurrected the karma seals, it's the same principle. And so what happens is the war effort's over, pretty much. Naruto, everyone's more victorious, more people survived in the last battle. Everything changed. Everyone looks at Naruto as a great hero of the world. Not just the Hidden Leaf, they thank Naruto, thank Sasuke, thank Itachi, all of Konoha, pretty much they become the MVPs of the world. And so as everyone goes back, Naruto goes to find Hinata and sees that there's a black mark that's connected to her some way. And when he sees Karin, she has the same thing. And that's when Naruto doesn't get it. And so over a period of time they try their best to extract the information and everything, learn as much as they can, but they don't learn nothing. Nothing at all. But what goes down is Naruto starts to grow up and he starts to have feelings for people. Well, two people in particular. What ends up going down is Sasuke ends up going with Sakura. That's a given, okay? And Itachi ended up being with Onko. And not only that, thanks to, Naruto was able to fix Itachi's eye using his Rinnegan. And he was able to give Kakashi both Mangekyou abilities of Obito. He put his other eye in, Naruto used his Rinnegan abilities, and he was able to heal Kakashi to the point where he could reuse the Rinnegan, or Rinnegan, the Mangekyou. And so as through Kage, Kakashi, thanks to the world, everyone for the support, they celebrate, all the worlds celebrate together, feudal lords, everyone. It's Rise alive and everything. And Naruto is full on the god, he can't turn off his 6-path sage mode. It's activated at all times, which is sad for him. Very sad. Sasuke is a Rinnegan, very powerful both arms, and Sakura is still Sakura. She's gonna have Sasuke's baby, god, an extra kind of god-like baby. And so what goes down is we're gonna do a time skip up into the Boruto era, to the Naruto, the last movie. Now what ends up going down is Toneri finds out upon the Earth and the Ten Tails and all that stuff, but instead of attacking, instead of sending the moon, he understands that there's like a kind of Otsutsuki on Earth that can help. And so he lands on Earth and he sees Naruto. Naruto sees him as well and he goes, who are you? He looks at Naruto and smiles. He goes, my name is Toneri Otsutsuki. You knew part of our great ancestor. You fought her, Kaguya Otsutsuki. I am Toneri. I'm the Otsutsuki of the moon. He bows to Naruto. I have a lot to discuss with you. Things that you may not be aware of and may be aware of. And if we could help each other, may peace between our peoples coexist. Naruto looks at him and he goes, if you want, follow my signs. I'll meet you on the dark side of the moon. Toneri disappears and Naruto's like, the dark side of the moon, what? And as Naruto's like, huh? The dark side of the moon? He looks up in the sky, and as he looks up in the sky, that's where we'll leave this one up, guys. I hope you guys like this. Please like and subscribe, leave your comments down below. And of course, yeah, I hope you guys like this. Please stay tuned for the next one. And yeah, but as usual, guys, this is Dr. Kahu saying peace.